It's really weird and also very interesting how most of the time we are in flight from the present moment, in flight from the only thing we actually have, where life is truly happening, right here, right now. And how quickly we snap into judgments, expectations, negative beliefs. It can be expectations about love, about healing, about how things should unfold in the future, how we should be by now, or I don't know, just the next dopamine hit, whatever. So basically, we're just very wired, I think, as living human beings to be in flight from the present moment. And from this raw, pure vibration, sensation where everything springs from. Everything. And it's not that simple. I mean, there are reasons for that, especially when we experience something very impactful, where being in the present threatened our existence or our sense of worth, right? So when we had no other choice but to go into flight mode or to dissociate, go into freeze mode, right? So this kind of reaction made us survive. It protected us, it kept us alive. The problem begins when we develop patterns that make us think or create certain beliefs that each time a similar situation reappears, we need to brace ourselves. We need to basically control our outcomes in order to survive. When in actuality, what we should do is feel into the emotion, the sensation, the raw vibration that wants to be felt, that wants to flow through us, that wants to complete itself. And most of us are so wired to avoid that sensation, that uncomfortable emotion. Just observe yourself how many micro situations, micro habits there are that make you avoid what feels uncomfortable. By feeling and getting to know, studying our avoided emotions, we actually get our glow back, we actually pull our energy back, which makes us more magnetic to everything that is actually meant for us, to everything that truly fulfills us, instead of just creating temporary relief or some surface level, I don't know, satisfaction. Yeah. Expectations, they give us orientation, right? They give us like a fixed point, right? So disappointment is very linked to that concept, right? Because in that moment of disappointment, the fixed point isn't there anymore. We face groundlessness, disorientation, uncertainty, and that feels uncomfortable. What actually helps me is to visualize things like these. I will try. Everything is vibration, right? And there's this point where everything springs from, every present moment. So you are an embodied being, you can feel it right now. So let's say there's this point, right? This moment of potential where everything springs from, or like whatever, the quantum field, however you want to call it, quantum field before measurement, or I don't know. Just let's just call it like a raw vibration or sensation in your body, right? It vibrates. So like this. And this raw vibration, it's pure and it's open and it's groundless and also it is uncertain. But most importantly, it is pure. Like a raw sensation, emotion, yeah, energy in motion is neither good nor bad. Can you see that? It's neither good nor bad. Joy isn't better than anger or fear. You know, I talked about that in my last videos recently, and the ones who know me know that I've been through some struggles and some loss. I've been waking up with this very dark, heavy feeling, like this. I described it as a dark fog. So I've been waking up in this dark fog, and I describe it as fog because it is so dense and so just consuming. And I try to feel into it and I try to become present. I try to become present in my body, and it was just not possible. And I realized that what this fog actually is, it is an energetic pattern which consists of thoughts, especially spiraling thoughts, overthinking, and negative beliefs. So, like here, I would draw it like this. It's like a dome, you know, it's like a spiral, and it influences also how we feel, how we interact with the world, the kind of things we manifest. These negative beliefs are basically, I'll write that down, negative beliefs are basically, judgments, assumptions about self and reality. Best example is I'm not worthy of being loved. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the worst negative beliefs. Or I'm not able to survive on my own, or I always need to control things to survive, and so on. Thoughts also are not inherently good or bad. There are useful thoughts, right? So I'm using my thoughts right now. But there are different kind of thoughts that are very repetitive, sorry, and also kind of judgmental. And you notice them because they already create like a tension. We have this broad term ego, which is very rooted in spirituality, and I mean this is like a very Buddhist, like Shambhala approach, but there's also the ego states theory, there is the shadow work, there is the parts work. So this is kind of my eclectic view of like this energetic pattern I've been feeling lately. I had, for example, or I have, when I wake up, these spiraling thoughts come, right? And there are thoughts like, I am lost and I won't be able to survive, basically. And the ironic thing is that these negative beliefs, they create certainty in a way because they are familiar, and that is what makes them so dangerous, basically. They are actually the counterpart to that raw, unfiltered sensation, vibration, emotion, which is open, vulnerable, uncertain, and all of that. Negative beliefs, they are kind of fixed, they are certain, they give orientation, they are tied to expectations, outcomes. And what this also does, it creates a kind of echo chamber, like when you look at it. Because this negative belief, it actually keeps you trapped. Your judgments, your assumptions about reality, if they are rooted in lack, they keep you trapped. So basically, expectations are just human. They just happen, right? So it also wouldn't be right to forcefully avoid having expectations. That is not the point. They kind of become problematic when we really cling to them. You all know the difference between kind of soft expectations and really heavy expectations. Those kind of expectations where I feel I need this outcome, or I need this thing or this person to feel whole, to feel worthy. And if I don't get it, then my whole sense of identity, of worth, and of maybe even existence dissolves. So that's when expectations become problematic. That's when a strong attachment to expectations is taking place. Excuse my English. So when we cling to expectations, when we get very attached to a certain outcome, right? They become a way of avoiding raw emotions, like this starting point. So that's kind of the moment where we are just avoiding to feel potential disappointment, but like even deeper than that, the origin before kind of the lack, which is oftentimes fear and a feeling of powerlessness, of openness, of groundlessness. But the paradox is, the more we fixate on expectations, the more we scatter our energy outward, basically. And the more drained we feel, or the more fake we appear, or the more egoic, whatever, because we scatter our energy into imagined futures, imagined outcomes, imagined versions of ourselves. And the further away we move from our own center, the less magnetic we become for what actually truly fulfills us, what actually resonates with our authentic self. And I like the word outcome. I'm actually German, so we don't have like an according word to that, but I really like that word because it kind of is a nice counterpart to come back. Come back. Yeah? Instead of fixating on an outcome, we should open ourselves for the comeback, which is the comeback to ourselves, to our center, to the here and now, where everything is connected. All of us are connected in the collective, beyond time and space. Because from that place, beyond time and space, everything is possible. Right? I don't know if you ever made music or played theater, improvisation, you know, or probably every one of us is creative, right? But you know how improvising feels. Like when you're playing the guitar or singing and you're improvising with someone or dancing or whatever, and you don't know what the outcome is. You don't know where this is going to take you, what direction this is going to move into. Or, you know, when you're painting a picture and you know exactly that feeling when you are fixating on the way something should look in the end. Yeah, when you are fixated on that outcome, we all know how that feels. We also know that it takes away the energy and the magic. And in the end, we become judgmental and we look at what we created and we think, I don't really like that, the way it looks and the way people look at it. The true magic happens when we return to the present moment again and again and let the energy move from the inside out and from the outside in again to create a circulation, right? And expectations will come. And when they come and when they start tightening around us, we notice them and we integrate it and we go into the flow again. Like I said in my last video, that is truly something we can practice. I started going back into that practice actually, just a week ago. I was very unconscious for the last couple of, I would even say month, ever since I lost my sister, and I went into various kinds of distractions to avoid feeling the pain of loss, which is also understandable, and I don't blame myself for that. But I really feel it's time to come back to myself and to my center, and it really feels so good. I can tell you, like, my skin cleared up, my stomach ache stopped, and overall these haunting thoughts, they come back again and again, and it's not that it is easy, but it is good to remind myself to keep on practicing. It's like really like charging a battery again. That's how it feels. So I just want to encourage you to try to do the same. It's a very good thing to say goodbye to the year of the wood snake, by the way, before the fire horse comes. Yeah, where the energy of boldness and authenticity is kind of stepping into the foreground. And as I said, expectations, because they are tied to ego, they can also be disguised as something very positive, oftentimes, like achievement, performance, being put together, looking pretty, being desirable, all of that. We just need to pay attention, like, what happens, or ask ourselves from time to time, what would happen if those structures would fall away? How would we feel being confronted with everything underneath it? You know, these stories, they work for a while, and we're just human. We all have them, right? They give orientation, they give structure, but eventually life has a way of shaking them. Life has a way of challenging us. I also said in one of my videos, like, the things we avoid, the emotions we avoid, they reappear in all kinds of manifestations in our life. They do, believe me. We can't escape them. And when that happens, it can feel like something very essential is missing. Because I often feel like the sense of void or emptiness or lack. But for me, it was very eye-opening to understand that this isn't the raw emotion, the raw vibration itself that's being avoided. It isn't the lack, it isn't the void. Very often what lives underneath that perceived lack or void is something much more fundamental, which points to a stagnation of energy. Because where there is a lack, you can be sure there is a point where energy is blocked. There might be a raw feeling of fear and of tension in your body. And it might point back to places of your childhood. It might be even epigenetic and point to something your ancestors went through. It can run very, very deep. But when I allow myself gently, without overwhelming myself, to feel into that fear and to look at it with curiosity. Okay, here comes fear. Oof. Here comes groundlessness. I have nothing to hold on to. I can't control it. I have no orientation. I have no fixed point. When that feeling comes, I try to really look at it with curiosity, maybe sometimes with a smile on my face, with an openness. And I try to study it, I try to get to know it, try to feel like every sensation. I try to feel into that tightness, into that tingling in my chest, whatever it is. When I meet that fear with curiosity, instead of immediately labeling it as something negative and just pushing it away, making that stagnation, that block even stronger, and that lack even more kind of powerful, if I instead look at it with curiosity, something very surprising begins to unfold. The energy that was bound up in holding everything together, maintaining the story, in performing safety or worth, it starts to loosen. It starts to flow. And it starts to flow into those places where there was lack, where there was emptiness, where there was blocked aliveness or drought. You can imagine it like a river that was dammed for a long time. The water or the life energy or the chi, however you want to call it, didn't disappear. It was just held back, and when the pressure eases and we start pulling our energy back into the present moment, slowly, carefully, I mean it really carefully. Sometimes it's even good to do some sort of therapy, somatic therapy like EMDR. But also through mindfulness, when we do that, the energy, the water starts moving again, and the riverbed fills and the landscape changes, right? Things start sprouting and growing again. Our authentic self is coming back, and that's what it is all about. And something important I want to say before I wrap up this video, detaching from expectations is not the end of desire, because desire is beautiful, you know, it's human. It is rather the end of bargaining with reality. Yeah, so I just want to thank you for keeping me company, watching until the end. As always, I'm just so grateful for you, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Bye bye.